Do you people remember that? Ages ago, you know, this was sent. But finally, it's time to set it up because we have the hard drives. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4 hard drives, 2 SSDs. It's time to put them inside there. Before we're gonna do that, I wanna say a big thank you to ASUSTOR who sent this out for me to test and make the content for you, as well as to Seagate who sent out these hard drives and SSDs. These hard drives are probably the best hard drives you can get for the NAS system. These are the Iron Wolf NAS ones. There's Iron Wolf Pro ones as well, but they're pretty much like the best hard drives you can get. 12 terabyte, one hard drive. Absolutely massive thanks Seagate and ASUSTOR for making this video happen. By the way, this isn't retail packaging. These 4 came into a massive box full of bubble wrap, absolutely huge. I just think they didn't want to take the chance of some broken hard drives arriving to me, which I'm very, very grateful. They're in a nice protective case, all of them. So let's have a look. Accessories, I suppose. And here's the box. I don't know about you, but to me, things or products like these are super, super exciting. Like things that improve my workflow and help with the storage and all that sort of jazz. Absolutely super, super exciting to me. If there's any instructions, Cat 5, Cat 6 cable. There is quick installation guide. If you press this button down here, boom, it pops out. And then you can pull the hard drive bay out. Interesting. Judging by the looks of it, there isn't like an M.2 installation or quick opening guide from the front. So what we're going to have to do is open up this screw here, that screw there, and that one over here. And then we can see inside and then put these M.2s inside there. Okay. Basically, this is like a mini PC for the reason of having just hard drives. There's 4 hard drives in there, but then it's just like all the mini PC. As you can see, we have an M.2 connector over here, and underneath there is actually another one. But then if you look at this side, if you flop this back up, you can see we can upgrade the RAM. This is the RAM slot for this. There's like a laptop memory that kind of fits in here, which is pretty cool. So there's like a little motherboard on this side. So that in the back over there is the little motherboard. And then we have a little I/O in the back. We have a HDMI, we have 2 USBs and 2 2.5 gig Ethernet ports, as well as a DC port. So basically power supply is external power supply. It's not internal. So that screw. And then this screw, and then this card should pop just out like that. Perfect. So now look at this one. This is basically like a double slot PCIe little slot. Let's fill this up. By the way, having this NVMe drive in there, or 2 of these in there, isn't actually necessary to get this working. This will just help with the caching or to get extra fast speeds if you wanted to from your NAS. So that's what we are doing. Look at that. The read and write speeds, 2.6 gigabytes per second read and write. We'll take this screw out. There is a little bit of DIY to do to set it up, but it should be pretty easy for anyone, especially after you've watched my video. Push that in. Number 1 is in. Now on the other side, we'll do exactly the same. Okay, the situation over here is that unfortunately, this standoff, because it's screwed on the other side, that screw is looser than this one, so I can't unloose the standoff screw without loosening the other screw on the other side, which means I have to hold on to this while screwing this. There we go. And then while we're holding on to this, let's screw this screw in from this side as well. So that is 960 gigabytes of SSD installed. The SSDs are installed, but now let's put the case back. Now, hard drive installation. Slide that open. Iron Wolf like this, lines up with the back. You can't put it the other way because the screw holes wouldn't line up. So as you can see, there's screw hole one on this side and this side, and on this side and that side. So basically we're gonna take the screws. There's two different types of screws, so I'll have to figure out which one is for our hard drive. I think it's the bigger ones. Let me double check. They're just different threads. Yeah, the bigger ones. Bigger ones are for our hard drives. So 4 screws in, and repeat the process, you know, 4 times, and then we have all of our hard drives in. So now let's put those hard drives in. Okay, putting them in is that simple, I suppose. You just pop them in there. That's it. As you can see, there is a little locking mechanism over here that stops it from, you know, quickly opening them, just in case, you know, someone accidentally pops it and pulls it out. You don't want that. So what we're gonna do is pick up a flat head and then lock all of these like that. So the NAS is connected to the power. Okay, the power's in the back. And then in the back there is 2 LAN ports. One of them is connected to my router, and then the other one is connected straight to the computer. And then, you know, all you have to do is now is press this power button on the top left. I'm gonna press that, and then it's just gonna turn the system on. Once it's turned on the NAS, as you can see over here, it says initialize NAS, and it says yes or no. We're not gonna touch that. Once it shows that, it means that your NAS is on and it knows that, you know, it's not initialized. So next of all, what you want to do is download the ASUSTOR Control Center. If you don't know how to do that, you type in ASUSTOR Control Center, as you can see, accasustor.com, and then you can just download it for Windows or Mac. It works both ways, but I'm going to show you how to do it on Windows. So once you have downloaded this, I have it over here, and then we're just going to double click on it, and it's already scanning to see like your networks to see if there is a NAS in the system, or ASUSTOR NAS. And as you can see, it has found this AS6604T, which is ours there, and there's the IP address over here. And then we have a model, and as you can see, the status is uninitialized. Now what you can do is click on this uninitialized, then we're gonna see if that one comes up. If it doesn't, what you can do is okay, here we go. Initialize your NAS. Okay, we're gonna go next. ADM upload, initialize your NAS. Yeah, we're gonna go next. And it's gonna ask if it's one-click setup or custom setup. I recommend you do custom setup. Next up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna name it. So I'm gonna name it like Tech Notice NAS, like that. When you have a username, what you would do is go for custom, not default account. So now you can make a user yourself. So for example, I'm gonna call it TN and then just put a password in. And once the password is in, you just choose whichever one you want. Just remember that that TN is the username because you're gonna need it later. We're gonna go next. Time zone. We are here in the UK. We want 24-hour clock, and we want I want day, month, year, like that. Synchronize. Yep. We're gonna go next. Use link aggregation. Now, if you don't have a switch, you don't need to worry about it right now. So I don't have a switch, so you can leave that to no. Network interface, I'm gonna put it LAN 2 because I know that that's directly connected to the NAS, but you can do any one of them. Obtain IP address automatically. Yeah, we're gonna set that up. As you can see, we're gonna choose the RAID level. Depends how many hard drives are in there. These are the different RAID levels you can set up. First of all, what you want to do also is the file system that the NAS is going to use. You want to go for this Butterfrost or BTRFS Butterfrost, because when you go with that file system, you have also the snapshot feature available. Basically, it's just like a little bit of more security that gives you that as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to choose the RAID level. Now, RAID 0 means that you're gonna have, you know, no backup for this. RAID 1 means that if you have 2 hard drives, one of them can fail and then you still have files on there. For RAID 1, you can only have 2 hard drives in that system. So if you have more than 2, then you're gonna have to choose different RAID. So I have 4 in there, and if you have less, this is how you set up a 2 NAS, for example. If you have 2, you just select the 2 in there that you have, and then you're gonna select RAID 1, okay? And then if you want to add hard drives later, you can do that later. This is how you do it. So if we go to Storage Manager on here, and your once you've logged into your NAS, you can see over here that our M.2s have been set up. They're volume 2, and then we have volume 1 is only 2 disks are set up over here. The volume 1, the green ones, and then these 2 blue ones, they have not been set up. So if we go to the volume tab over here, you can see volume 1, which is our hard drives, volume 2, which is our SSDs. Don't worry, the actual colors don't mean that this is like getting yellow, which means like, you know, health or something is different. It's just to differentiate the drives with the color. What we're going to do is volume 1, select the volume 1, we go management, and then you go RAID. So now it's saying that migrate this volume from the current RAID level to a higher one. So we're going to make it to RAID 5, okay? And we're going to go next. And now it's going to ask you which drives would you like to add to this. As you can see, drive 3 and 4, which are in base 3 and 4. It's easy to, you know, understand. If you have just one drive, you just click one drive, and then you're going to go next. If you have 2 drives, you just click 2 of them. And then we're going to click next. 1, 2, 3, 4, all of these drives into RAID 5, estimated total capacity 32 terabytes. So that's fine. We're going to click finish. And now it's literally going to build the RAID system as well. And as you can see, this is going to take quite a long time. When you set it up at first or later, you just let it do its job, you know, don't touch it. It's gonna migrate all of those files that you have in there into the new RAID system or the RAID 5. But it's also suggested that it might be best to back up the footage you have there. You know, it should work without backing up. There shouldn't be any problems. You just plug them in there. Unless, you know, something happens like, I don't know, you lose power to it or power surge or something like that. You know, I wouldn't do this migrating RAID level when you're like in a thunderstorm or something like that. But, you know, generally it should work. You just log in new hard drives, press RAID 5, and there you go. But then in our case, if you have 3 or more drives, I'm going to select them all because I have 4. And we're going to select RAID 5, which means that we have 1 hard drive that can fail out of those 4, and then we still have all of our data saved. So we're going to lose 1 hard drive of capacity, but that's also going to be our protection. So it's probably the best bang for buck between like protection and capacity for NAS. Okay, I confirm that I have read and understood the above. We're going to select all of the hard drives. So all of those will be in RAID 5. We're going to click next, and then it's going to start initializing this NAS now. Now, bear in mind, once it's initialized, it still takes time for the NAS to build the RAID system. And the more hard drives you have there, the more time it takes, because it's just going to figure out all the, you know, where the files are and how we're going to back everything up so that we have all of the capacity and a little bit of backup. So it's going to build that RAID system up basically in there. And it takes quite a long time, like a day or so. Okay. And if you haven't registered your NAS yet for this, then this is the place where you do it, or you can just register later if you want. We're just going to go next. Initializes complete. Start your experience. You can just read up a little bit over here, but we don't want to show this again. And then we're going to X this off. So now this over here is basically like the operating system of the NAS, where you can go into its settings. You know, you can see the settings. We can see the storage management over here, and this is where I would go first. Depends if you have installed the M.2 drives as well or not. But in here we can see that the volume 1 over here is our RAID 5, and as you can see, it's synchronizing and building it. It's 0.06% done, and remaining is 1.3 days, which is, you know, it takes some time, but once it's up, it's all good. But while this is doing that, what we want to do is, as you can see, our M.2 drives. Before we're actually going to do that, let me show you how to get this up if you don't know how to get this up. So let's say you don't have it up, but we have our ASUSTOR, you know, control center over here. We're going to open this up when you turn on your computer. you can see straight away that, you know, it's found the Technotis NAS that we already set up. And how you open this is now, usually when you can click this open drive, but I don't know why it's not letting you do that. So you can just do the same, go on like online, and we're gonna just type in the IP address from there. Remember that you had. If you click that in, now it's going to bring this up, and remember, now it's going to ask the username and password that you set up. I'm going to put TN here, and I'm going to press stay signed in as well, because I don't want to sign in all the time when I'm at home. And then there we go, we are in the interface again, and we're back to storage management. So this is how you set up the M.2 drives. You're going to go to create, and we're going to go advanced setup. We're going to select RAID 0. If you want, you can go RAID 1 as well, but then you're going to lose one of the M.2 drives and only half the capacity. But it's not very likely, you know, always this can happen, but it's not very likely that the M.2 drives are going to crash. And because I'm not going to use them for SSD caching, because the hard drives that are in there are quite fast anyway, so roughly around, you know, up to 300 megabytes per second read and write speeds, which are quite fast, which actually puts the bottleneck of the system, not because of the hard drives, but the actual LAN ports, because they're only 2.5 gig ports, which means that if you divide it by 8, we're gonna get roughly around 300 and something megabytes per second speed through those 2.5 gig Ethernet ports, which means that I'm going to use those two M.2 drives as just a separate volume, a very fast volume that has a better like random read and write or from there. So if you want to have like a project or something you're working on over there, you can do that, or quickly access this, or for example a drive that's shared from, you know, all over on the internet or on the network, in your home network, then you can do that over there. So we're going to press RAID 0. That's how I would do it. We're going to select both of those M.2 drives, as you can see, and then we're going to press next. We're going to go Butterfree system as well. That supports snapshots. Boom. Data protection none. So both of them are going to be pulled together into one drive, which is like almost 900 gigabytes. Finish. It's going to do that much faster, because these are much faster SSDs, and they didn't have to be rated, so they're just like boom in a pool together. Boom, as you can see, here are the drives. So what else do you want to set up? So there's loads of different things you can do over here, and you can access control. So this is where you put like your users and who's gonna have some kind of privileges, or how much you want to restrict some users, and which you know, folders they can use and things like that. We have activity monitor. You can see your CPU, memory, network, and all of that sort of jazz. Look, as you can see, the drives are proper like working right now. And even though this CPU there is very small CPU, like not powerful on paper, it's absolutely fine compared to this what we're doing this for. So there we go. I'm gonna X this off. App Central, this is where you're gonna have lots of awesome apps in there, different apps if you want to like look around. I think it's not loading up right now because I'm connected directly to it, and I think I have some kind of internet problem. But if you connect it to the internet as well, then it would actually work and show up loads of different apps that you can use there. But what we want to do is this file explorer over here. When you open the NAS over here, for example, if we go to our file system over here, and we're gonna go on here and then // we're gonna type 3, which was the IP address we can, you know, connect to it. It's going to use our username TN, and we're going to go put the password in. Remember my credentials. So now, as you can see, there's 3 folders in here. This file explorer, as you can see, there's three folders over here. You know, home, public, web, these are over here, and I can access those same ones inside here. Now these are like the root folders, and these are all on like the volume 1, which is on the hard drives right now. So the other option, what you can do is set up like another folder that is on the SSD. So how you can do that is, for example, if we go to the ADM, we're going to create new shared folder, which is going to bring us here shared folders. We're going to add new shared folder. What we're going to name this is, for example, TN NAS SSD. We're going to use volume 2 because remember volume 1 was the hard drives, volume 2 was the SSDs. If you want to enable network recycled bin, so if you delete anything from there, it actually goes to your computer's bin or something like that. So if you want to use that, and then that's basically it. We're going to click next. Read only for all users, so all users can read it. Read and write for administrators, so users who have, you know, that's what we'd want. This there, that's the best one. If you put this one, then anyone who connects to your, you know, drive or internet can actually just read and write all these drives, which you don't want. You want to give access to only those people who want to do, who can access this, or who you want. So boom, boom, we're going to do that. Finish. As you can see, here it is. And if we open this drive, there it is. And then now if we just refresh this page, boom, as you can see, NAS SSD. So if I open this one here, I can just start copying files over here. So for example, let's take my other folder here, where's all the project drives are here. So let's start copying, for example, one of the latest projects. Let's take if Peter McKinnon had a PC. It's quite a big project. We're going to copy that from here to the SSD. And as you can see, the speed for this is 140 megabytes per second. That's not too bad. It can go actually a bit faster, like 270. We'll see if it goes there. I've seen that go there, but now we know that it's actually using the network interface to connect between these two. So it's actually the second LAN port. It's using it over because it's 150 megabytes per second. If it was like somewhere around 1 or maybe 10 megabytes per second, then it's probably using the internet, over the internet or through the router, putting it there. But then the bottleneck is that it's just that one. But and then all the volume 1, for example, I'd like to make another folder over here, which would be TN archive volume 1. We're going to do exactly the same. Read all users. Yes, yes, boom. And then if we open this over here, we'll go back one, and then we're gonna, boom, there we go, TN archive. So this one, for example, is now on the volume 1. So now you can just make as many folders or however you want to set the folders up and which volumes, just, you know, thinking, okay, do I want it on the SSD, do I want it on the hard drive? So you can just dump everything on one folder on the hard drives, however you want to set it up. But then you're thinking, okay, how can I access it quickly from my, you know, file explorer, for example, on Windows? So what we can do is, if we open this one over here, for example, this TN archive over here, what we can do is map network drive. So for example, if you select this folder, we're going to click map network drive, and then we're going to put any drive letters as you want, you know, just pick whichever one you want. We're going to press T because it's TN archive, and then reconnect at sign in. That's fine. We're going to just press finish. And what happens is now, as you can see on this side panel over here, we have that drive over here, which means that now you can just, you know, when you go this PC, you can see you have network locations, and you can just connect to this. As you can see, 32 terabytes free of 32 terabytes. So now this is going to be the TN archive drive. If you want to, like, you know, I'm going to put all my projects, I'm going to literally dump them all in there, and then they're going to be in there. And if I wanted to access or get some files from it, I can literally quickly access there, this drive over there, and I don't have to connect to, like, you know, go ASUSTOR connect. But you could do that if you wanted to. You can just press connect and open network drive, and then boom, it just opens all the files, you know, like this folder over here. That's what it will do. But because I don't have internet over here right now, I'm gonna, you know, reconnect it, or just we'll see if it's in there now. I might have to restart the computer, but that's how you set it up. So basically now our NAS is set up. It's still building the RAID system. So I would wait until it's built all the RAID system and then start loading files on there. But basically that's how it's set up. If you want, you can just literally play around and get used to a little bit of this interface over here if you wanted to, you know all what's going on, things like that. But basically that's it. External devices is when you plug in through USB anything to the NAS over here. So you could basically plug in your external hard drive into the NAS, and then literally you can see it over here, and then you can copy the files, or if you want, you can just access them over the internet as well if you wanted to. But that's how you set up
a NAS or ASUSTOR NAS. If you have any other questions or you'd like to see some more videos, what you want to do is hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and then we're going to see you very, very soon. We got some exciting videos coming up. For example, some very creative and exciting ways how you can use the NAS system, and some things that you can do with it that I bet you didn't know, that were even a surprise to me. So I'm very excited to share these things. So thanks very much, guys, for watching. Hopefully this was useful for you. If you want to pick up the NAS that I'm using right now, this ASUSTOR one, or the hard drives, I'm going to leave them in the links below. Thank you very much, Seagate and ASUSTOR, for sending these out to provide and make these videos. Massively appreciated. Thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon. Adios. Close this gap here as well.